PlayStation Store customers were told they were going to lose a whole bunch of seasons of Discovery content, 1,300 seasons, that they have purchased through the Sony Store because Sony could not come to an agreement for licensing rights with Warner Brothers Discovery. This leaves PlayStation customers who previously purchased, not rented, but purchased content from Discovery no longer able to stream it to their devices. This is unfortunately more and more of a common occurrence. This is not the first time this has happened, as licensing contracts are coming up and every major studio is pushing a streaming service these days. It begs the question, does physical media need to make a healthy comeback? Mallow.
Yes.
Okay.
I rest my case.
No. I do think it does need to make a comeback. There is a lot of things out there, and you and I actually talked about this in the pre-show. We've talked about this several times, just joshing at the game table. When you license digital content, you do not own that digital content unless you have it downloaded on a device and backed up onto a hard drive. Usually in the 3-2-1 methodology, 3 different places or 3 different devices, 2 different places, meaning one on-site, one off-site kind of thing. You don't own it. You license it. And they even say it in all of the terms and services and things like that, that you are basically only renting this, even though you purchased it. It sucks. I've had a lot of content leave some of my favorite platforms that I had purchased previously. Even some of Doctor Who stuff that I had purchased is no longer on some of the platforms. I think the physical media sort of piece gives you a moment in time of having these pieces and these pieces of content and stuff. And it's a way for you to be able to go back and watch it kind of whenever you want to. You don't necessarily have to worry about which streaming service it is and how it hops around and all that kind of stuff. Plus they do a lot of fun behind the scenes content and a lot of like extras on the DVDs and things that I really enjoyed. Thinking about like Star Wars, the Episode 3 Within a Minute documentary, which anybody who's getting into production ever at all, when I taught it and things like that, I would show them that video first and go, this is how many people it takes to do 1 minute of film on a major movie picture. And it watches their eyes go wide as the thing, the spider graph comes out and it's gigantic that it takes to put on a movie. I think that, it is one of those kind of things where like we're getting into a place where you're paying for the convenience. You're paying for the convenience of having anything anywhere all at once. And that is an unfortunate penalty that I think most people are learning the hard way right now.
So this is where I'm going to get mad.
Yep.
I don't blame Sony. I don't blame Warner Brothers. I blame the consumers. Okay? They gave you something nice and convenient. They very quietly let you know that you didn't actually own this content, and you went right along with them. Okay? The only reason this is happening is because you all stopped buying physical media. Okay? That's why it's happening. Best Buy stopped selling physical movies. They're cutting it off next year. I think Walmart's right behind them. Okay? The reason is because you guys don't buy them. Right? It's the same argument. Why doesn't Hollywood put it? Hollywood puts out all kinds of stuff that's not superhero and big franchise movies. You people don't see them. Full stop. How many
what do
of
you mean, you people?
How many of you people went and saw Everything Everywhere All at Once in the theater? How many of you people went and saw, they were originally going to call it the Joyride, right? Okay. Like, you, and again, somebody that said, like, you've seen my disc while I represent this. There is a group, it's a niche group, but it's a niche group of people who still collect physical media. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I have long been criticized by people for many years for keeping my physical hard copy books, right?
Yep.
Physical fucking books. And the reason is I understand that my Kindle may die, right?
Yes.
A zombie apocalypse may start. Amazon may lose licensing rights. Who knows? Okay. The fact of the matter is, it's your fault. Okay. It's your fault. Dog Dead, that movie actually came out earlier this year. The original title of the movie was The Joy Fuck Club, and they had to retitle it for the Cannes Film Festival because the producers were like, we cannot call this movie The Joy Fuck Club. Okay. It's out there. Okay.
Yes.
We did this. Okay. We do this for convenience. We do this for nicety. I have bought digital movies. Now, here's the difference. I have been under no impression. if my digital movies go away, I will not be like, oh, I declare. No, that's not going to be me. Okay. I understand this, right?
Yeah.
I am buying a convenience. I get this. Right?
I still purchase a lot of physical music, and I own a streaming
Oh,
service.
don't even. Yeah, let's not even talk about music, because that's another problem here.
Well, it is another problem, but it's endemic to the same kind of thing, right? Is when I switched from one streaming service to the other, I was having to physically or manually code from one to the other, essentially. And I was going through, and I have what is called the Mallow list. Yes, everything in my life is named after my name. And it is a list of just constantly engaging, like constantly getting bigger kind of music and stuff. And I was going through Spotify as I was transferring over. And I started noticing that certain tracks were grayed out, that Spotify no longer had the rights to them. And some of them were big tracks that they were in the middle of working on licensing and stuff. And it just kind of blew my mind. It's like, you're the biggest streaming platform in the planet. How are you losing like content rights and stuff like that? Like, it's that you and Apple Music is pretty much it. Maybe YouTube too. But how are you losing, content licensing stuff to it and all like that? Which is why I continue to buy, especially vinyl, because a lot of times vinyl will come with download codes for the MP3s and stuff like that, or I can, pull it off and put it on my computer and stuff like that. So I always have it just in case the record, gets messed up or something. I'm the same way a lot of times now about DVDs, unless it's things I just really don't want to watch anymore. If it's stuff that I know I'm going to want to go back to, a la Doctor Who, I have all of the 9th, 10th, and 11th Doctor's stuff in one giant folder that I purchased, and I can go back and watch it anytime I want to. And that's very important for me, because I can just pop it in and go, and PlayStations and everything and stuff like that now still have disc drives on them, hopefully, and for the, knock on wood, foreseeable future, you can still get DVD
but I mean,
players
this is with computer games, right?
Yes.
We are all buying this stuff digitally, right?
Yep.
This is the other thing, and talking on this physical media thing, somebody in the chat just brought it up, tabletop RPGs. There's a reason why I'm very careful about buying tabletop RPGs, and I've had this discussion with many, many people before. Even if the digital world went down tomorrow, right, and I decide not to pay for any of that stuff, the fact of the matter is I hold enough physical TTRPG content in my personal library where I can run games for you and me and our friends until the day I die. And I will never run out of like source material to work with. Okay.
Yeah.
Ever, ever, ever. This is why I keep the books. Somebody was making fun of my AD&D 2nd edition book, and they were like, it's so beat up. I'm like, yeah, but I've gotten so much use out of it.
Yes.
I spent $40 on it back in 1996, and it's a 27-year-old book.
Yep.
But I'm still playing it,
The opposite side of this, unfortunately, for some of this stuff, is that piracy is officially on the rise. According to Variety, in 2022, it rose about 18%. And that was measured over 215 billion with a B global visits to piracy websites. And guess who's number one on that list? Go for the United States of America, baby. Woo!
USA! 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 I'm kidding.
But we don't condone it officially on this channel, but we do understand why people do it. And I think that is a very important kind of delineation to kind of be in there. Because all of these services and things like that continue to kind of say, nope, even if you bought it, you still don't own it, kind of thing. And you might have paid $5 for that episode. Tough shit. That's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. And the only way to stop that is to make it more accessible for a reasonable fee. And I don't think that the proliferation of streaming services, unfortunately, the way that it's going right now, and the way that content licensing is happening right now, is I don't think it is conducive to actual people being able to just watch the things they want to watch. We don't have the convenience that people, I think, perceive that we do in a lot of ways.
Can I tell you what I've been tempted to do? I've been tempted to use OBS to go into my digital libraries and make recordings.
YouTube, you didn't hear that from us. We're going to strike
Here's
that
the
one
thing.
from the record.
Here's the thing, not for public use, because my understanding still is, if I remember my copyright law, and speaking to our lawyers, you're allowed to make copies for personal use.
It depends on the service now
of content,
because those things have been those terms of services have been amended several different ways, and traditionally DVDs and things, if you purchased it, yes, are for personal use, and like if you ripped one using Handbrake or something like that as a backup copy just in case the disc got destroyed or something like that. Nowadays I think that most of the terms of service has been amended that you're not allowed to do that.
I'm just saying you could do it with pretty easy like YouTube video guidance. You could absolutely make copies of your digital media in case it gets pulled.
Well, it's also in case you want to take it with you, because you can still sideload movies and MP4s and everything like that onto your phone. Say you're going on a trip or something like that, or to a Steam Deck or something like that, and you want to take it with you. You can still do that. And that's a very important, sort of delineation. It's like, I'm making this so I can take it with me. I'm not taking a DVD player with me on the plane. But I do want to watch this episode of Letterkenny or something like that, right? And I want to take it with me.
Here's the thing.
So I think,
again, I come back to this. You wonder whose fault this is? It's the consumer's fault. It's your fault. If you want them to stop doing this, you have to go back out and buy physical media. You have to do durable things and show them that there's money in it, and they'll go do it.
Yes.
Okay? The only reason this is happening is because we have traded. And again, there's an argument to be made for accessibility and a lot of other things. Okay? For, I don't know, what is it, $11.99 a month for Disney Plus? I've got enough content on there that I can watch. I mean, what, 30 seasons of The Simpsons? Like, you get lots of content for a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't own that anymore. It's not yours.
And if you're okay with that, that's fine.
Yep.
That's the thing. If it's the show that you really, really, really love and you never want to be without it and stuff like that, physical media is the way to go.
Yep. Chat saying,
hell, vinyl made a comeback.
Chat saying, vote with your wallet and attention.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what you can do. Is these companies are going to try to get their money one way or the other. And if it's through a Blu-ray sale, then they're going to get it that way. If the streaming services aren't making them money, which, let's be honest, most of the streaming services actually aren't making money. So if they could go back to physically making DVDs and getting 50% markup on a disc that they've made 100,000 times and distributed around the world, they'll do that. They'll do it in a heartbeat. And they'll put their collection online for $5.99 and stuff like that. And if you want to try to stream a few things, that's cool. But like, that's the way these kind of things tend to work. And the fact that CD and vinyl sales have made a comeback and things like that, does kind of signal to me that maybe our generation and the next generation down is willing to at least see what is happening from a media literacy and things like that sort of perspective, or at least from a marketing literacy perspective.
And they want those products.
And they want them, they want what they paid for. And they want something that's a little bit more tangible in their hand now, rather than ethereal in the cloud.
I want to close this one out by addressing somebody in the comments. It's nice to say that to the handful of us on here, but we can't make Hollywood change by ourselves. We absolutely can. Right? And here's the way we can do it. The streamers are starting to change their tactics. They're starting to do things because what they're seeing is they're seeing kind of some of the stuff that the Netflix model was doing and going, ooh, there's some issues there. And they're shifting. They're building in better bundles. They're building in better systems because they're seeing the churn, right? People churning on their streaming services is bad for the streamers, right? And churn has been their biggest thing, which is consumer X, I want to watch this show. I sign up for this service. I'm done watching it. I cancel, right? This is bad. They don't want that. Yeah. They want you to stay. So what they're doing is they're coming with better bundles. Verizon's got one that just came out with Netflix and HBO Max, now Max, for $10 if you're using Verizon, right? Disney just added Hulu to their primary page on Disney Plus for their bundled customers. They're doing that as a beta test. There's a lot of stuff there where our buying habits and the way that we spend money has made them start to do things, right? For years when we all had cable, we were like, man, I just want to buy the stuff that I want to buy. I don't need these 92 channels that I never watch. That's what you're getting with the streaming thing. If you have all of the streaming services, it's really expensive.
Yes.
But you can kind of pick and choose the content that you want. And that's the thing. And again, that's why they're starting to bundle. That's why you're getting cheaper versions if you bundle, right? If you lock in, right? If you do this, because again, your purchasing habits are making them change how they price things, right? The reason you're seeing a lot of these jack up in prices is they're testing the market, right?
They're testing them. Well, they're doing two things. Is they're not profitable right now. Most of them are not. The streaming services alone are not profitable.
Max and Netflix are the only two streaming services that have hit profitability that we're aware of.
That's amazing because Max is the crappiest platform on the planet.
Max has hit profitability.
That's probably because they only create 3 shows.
Well,
so.
It's Last of Us, House of the Dragon, and The Sopranos, and that's what they need.
Well, and it's a bunch of cheap shows from HGTV and stuff like that. Let's be real. But even that is getting bundled in a lot of other places.
Mm-hmm.
You can get Max on Amazon right now.
Yep.
And you can get the ad tier and free tier and stuff like that. I think the way that's coming, and a lot of them, including Apple, has increased their prices and stuff like that because again, they're not just the studio, but they're the distribution service, and so they're having to go make all of this content for you and put it out there. And even Apple is thinking about bundling with Paramount Plus. I think is the one that's coming up.
That's the rumor. I've heard that rumor. I've heard that rumor.
Yeah, and I think. The thing about it is, too, is if you look at it and to take a step back, because I saw some stuff earlier this week about the superhero movie fatigue and stuff like that, especially now that you mentioned Disney Plus and stuff like that with it, where they're having to go make all this content because they have a streaming service. And they know when people start and stop that service is based upon the type of content there. Mm-hmm. So what they've got to do is now put out a steady stream of content across the entire time for Marvel fans.
Which is what Disney has done all year.
They have. And you can argue whether you like that or not. Because by viewership, it hasn't landed. Like Ahsoka, as good as that series was, had a steep drop as we got to the end of it. Loki, high point, great. But that's one of those ones I would probably buy on DVD and have the series and just let it go.
If I could buy if I could buy WandaVision on Blu-ray, I would buy it.
You can.
Oh, can you? Did they finally release it? Thank God. All right.
It has a bunch of other stuff with it and things like that.
Go buy physical media, right? It's good. I promise. And yes, the Joy F Club was a thing, right? I put it in the chat. Okay. They renamed it to Joyride. It was a great movie. It's a phenomenal comedy. Nobody went and saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, they respond to your consuming. I promise. They really do.